Alright, so what I'm going to do, going to mark out, I had it marked out 2 inches, but I think I'm going to go a little bit more. So there's 2.5. Now the reason I'm doing it like this, I'm going to put 2 pins in it and then 2 screws. And this one's going to be for a small knife. It's just a basic grinding. Alright, I got to have 2 of these. I won't bore you with the next cut, but basically same thing, 2.5 inches. And I'll show you more. It's just like a basic sanding grinding guy. Like I said, I've seen the knife guys do them, and that's one reason I'm just going to try to make my own. I'm not going to plan on making a lot of knives. I don't want to spend a lot of money to do it. All right, I'm going to pre-drill for my pins, and just going to add a couple of pins along with the screws to kind of help line everything up. This is going to be 1/4 inch pins, and just trying to get everything drilled. I think I'm going to stop and not drill all the way through one of them. That way I can kind of glue it in or drive it in. Hopefully it's a little bit big enough that I can drive it in and make it where it'll just stick up, and then have the screws go through to make it where I'm not really getting a lot of interference with stuff sticking out on them. All right, and there we go. So what's going to happen is have these little pins right here, and then this will just kind of guide them in for the screws. All right, we got this drilled out, and I just kind of cleaned everything up, sanded it down, and then these are going to be our little guides. Then once I get the guides in, then I'm going to glue the guides in, and then drill 3/8 holes through here. And I'm either going to tap the bottom one, or I'm going to just leave it and put nuts on the back of it. I ain't made up my mind yet. We'll see on that part when we get to it. But what I'm going to do now is mix up some 30-minute slow epoxy. Take the caps back off. I always put these things back on, then I forget to take them back out every time. But it'll keep it from drying out as quick. Not going to need very much of this stuff. Just a little bit. I'll put them back in later. All right. Just kind of mix her up. Then I cleaned off the pins as well. Now, what I'm going to do, just kind of daub these things on. Kind of rounded one side out. don't want to stick a whole lot down in there because I don't want it to get all over panel, the plates here, but enough to where she's going to hold real good. And that's going to be one. And we'll wipe it off too when we get done here. I said these things ain't going to be holding any pressure. They're just to kind of guide everything together, make it where you can kind of line it up a little easier. So just want a good fit, but not crazily strong. Now, what I'm gonna do, I'll kind of wipe some of this off. A little bit of clean up later, a little easier. And once it dries, we'll take a razor blade, just kind of scrape it off. But I am going to use magnets to hold these things in where they line up nice and straight. That way we ain't got no swaying down, or just kind of line them up pretty. And this guy's still leaning. Just eyeball them real good. I think that do it pretty good. And we'll just let that dry, and tomorrow when we come in, it'll be ready for the next step. Alright, it's the next day. So I ended up, gluing these things in to see how they turned out. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Let's see how this thing's gonna fit. Yeah, not too bad. Now that I got them together, I'm just gonna kind of ground them where they're flat on the sides. And I already ground them flat. So now I just kind of gotta do it. You want to keep a little bit of water where you don't get your glue hot. They don't have to be perfectly flat. I mean, you want the insides flat, but not so much on the edges. I mean, it's not really doing anything, but that's pretty much it. Now I gotta drill our 3/8 holes in it and for our nuts, and still haven't decided if I'm gonna tap it yet. Alright, I'm getting ready to drill the holes in the bottom, or this is actually the top plate, but I'm gonna drill my 3/8 holes, and I kind of laid it out. Now I'm just gonna kind of get me a point I want to drill. And once I drill through this, then I can kind of drill through with a smaller bit and then mark the center. That'll be the center on the bottom one. So that's what we're going to do now. Let me get the drill press set up, and then we'll drill it out. Alright, gonna drill my pilot holes here. And there's my center holes. Getting ready to drill out a couple sizes bigger. the next size. Alright, I did decide I'm going to tap that bottom one. And it's going to be a 5/16 for my 3/8 tap. It's a 3/8 by 16. So what's that bad bit? Right back. Alright, let's try this again. This is the 5/16 bit. That's the tap size I'm going to be cutting in on the bottom one. Yeah, that other bit was toast. I didn't really realize it, but that's where I was drilling that arbor out. Well, same trouble I had drilling that arbor out. These bigger bits are just crap. I think this is the DeWalt Gold set. Yeah, that was a brand new one. That's pretty ridiculous, man. Made in America. Good old carbide, hard ass bits. I think it was brand new. Can't even drill at the 5/16 hole. Alright, I had never really done this before, but I'm going to try to use the mill as a drill. I mean, I can program it to do it, but since I'm already started, I'm just going to try to drill it. I got a good old USA bit. See what happens. Yep, that's way better. Can't believe you can't freaking get a drill bit anymore. I think what happens, you see this like on Forged in Fire. That's the only one you really get to see it. I think it's where you start drilling and it literally just kind of heats up the drill bit and it hardens the steel around it. That's the only thing I can think of that would make it do it. And I've had more trouble here in the past little bit trying to drill holes. It is just unbelievably hard to do sometimes. Now all I'm going to do right here is just kind of center this thing back up. Make sure I'm in the center of the hole. That looks pretty good. We are fixing to run again. Alright, now we're going to drill our 3/8 hole. One more hole to go and this thing's done. Probably gonna cut my pins off a little shorter. They're pretty long. I didn't know how high I was gonna leave them, so just made them long and figured we'd always cut them off if we need to. Got one more to do. Brush this guy off. Center everything up. That's it. Not too bad. Thing cuts pretty good holes, man. Way better than a dang drill bit. But let me get and clean this thing up and we're done. Alright, just gonna kind of hand thread these things. It's a bit of a booger, but it's not too big of a deal. There we go. Nice and easy now. Finger turn it. Kind of a pain, but I think it'd be easier having this thing threaded on the bottom than having to fight with nuts. Just more pieces to keep up with. And that's got it. Go clean up the holes, the top of them. And I think we pretty much got the bottom part. Alright, this is what we ended up with. I wanted a real small one. That way, if I'm doing a little trout knife, you know, don't have too big of a piece on here. But what you're basically going to do is tighten this thing up. You pretty much snug it in, finger tight. It's threaded pretty nice. Kind of get it in position. A little snug. And there you go. I could end up with changing these bolts out too, making them a little smaller, but I kind of like it because it kind of gives you a little hold on it. That's my little knife grinder.